Well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are today. I am Jeffrey E. Berger, and welcome to Holistic Mental Fitness Series, where myself and Mupo Entertainment believes mental fitness is the new physical health. So, before I bring on my very, very special guest today, Dr. Michelle Van Tonder, to the stage, if I may. As a certified holistic wellness coach, I'm humbled to be affiliated with an amazing group of humanitarian entrepreneurs who are aligned with the only holistic mental wellness company focusing on the microbiome. And many ask, what is that? And that's a great question. It's the gut brain heart access health, and it's a science that's actually disrupting the health and wellness industry today, especially when it comes to mental wellness. Who out there hasn't suffered or experienced stress, anxiety, depression, or even have had suicidal thoughts? It's no exaggeration to describe stress, depression, anxiety, and burnout as epidemics, literally the black plague of our modern times. And this interview series is very near and dear to my own heart because it's about sharing stories of others opening up conversations from all areas of wellness to help people understand it's okay to talk about mental health, mental fitness, emotional health, share experiences from and helping people to be informed that there are alternative options that are out there that are safe and work. Also, bringing on other individuals sharing their own stories and what they have to offer to people who are in the looking zone, because we provide real solutions to real people who are serious about getting their physical, mental, and emotional health from a state of barely surviving to thriving again. You know, there is no physical health without mental wellness, and they are actually two sides of the same coin, and they are actually vital for each of us and for our ability to reach our peak potential in this one life that we get to live. And how we feel is not just in our head, it's also in our gut, and this is what we do best. So, as the founder and CEO of Abundance and Optimum Wellness, I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. We're entering a serious global disruption these days where there is massive change happening. And there are more and more people stepping up to the plate, getting out of their comfort zones, wanting to be leaders, of which I believe we all can be a leader in some fashion. It's a matter of choice. We're here to share some information for those who are in the looking zone. So, before I bring on my very, very special guest today, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And for those that are interested, Mupo Entertainment is a syndication through Mupo TV. And it's actually an app that can be downloaded on your Android or your iPhone, Mupo Entertainment, or you can see it on mupotv.com. We're also seen on Fire TV, Vimeo, and Roku. So we'll be right back with Dr. Michelle. Okay, we are back with Dr. Michelle Van Tonder, who is joining us from Pretoria, South Africa today on the other side of the world. Dr. Michelle is the wife to Dr. Anthony Van Tonder, who was my special guest last week, the mother of 4 and grandmother of 10. Her credentials include straight D's in high school and a mother by 19 years old, but today holds a PhD in leadership and management, an incredible achievement indeed. A master trainer at ICANN Maxwell Africa, and that's John Maxwell. Amazing, amazing man, and one of the many leaders that I have many books on. And Dr. Michelle is a great advocate of personal growth and encouragement, assisting you to tap into your full potential, passion, power, and purpose. And her true passion is educating people through financial mastery. And finally, Dr. Michelle advocates when you believe in yourself and belong to a community of like
Mhm.
minded people, you will become everything you were born to be. So, welcome, Dr. Michelle, to season 4 of Holistic Mental Fitness.
Thank you very much, Jeff. It's awesome to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to finally have you on talking face to face instead of behind the
Yeah,
scenes going waving here and there. So I'm
absolutely.
truly humbled that you were able to take time from your very busy schedule and do this interview with me. So
Thank you.
before we actually get started with some of these questions, please share with our viewers a little bit about who Doc Michelle is outside of your business.
Well, outside of the business is I totally believe in that the devil finds work for idle hands. He has a way of doing that. So I don't sit down for a moment unless I go to sleep, of which, by the way, I love doing. Give me a time and a place. I can sleep on an airplane. I can sleep standing up. When it's time to sleep, it's time to sleep and I can go down. But I love to crochet, and everybody calls me a granny for that. But I do. I love to sit and crochet and make things and just be creative with my hands. I also do enjoy sketching every now and again. I'm not really good
Nice.
at that, but enjoy it. And then, most importantly, when I do get the opportunity, love to spend time with my grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
So fit them all in between everything else, just keeping busy.
There you go. Well, that's awesome. And you've had an incredible journey in life. And
Mhm.
I mentioned in the introduction that your credentials included straight D's in high school. When I read that, like, no,
Yes.
that can't be true. And today you're a PhD. So share some of that journey with our viewers. And before you answer that, I have to show this because this is an award that you received, certificate of excellence. So I want you to kind of tie that into your story here of lifetime achievement award in 2021.
Oh, thank you. My husband did a sneaky one on me there. It is there behind me on the wall as well. But he's definitely done a sneaky on me. Okay, listen, I most definitely was not the most compliant teenager. That was it. I still am, don't abide by the rules. I still love to break the rules. I love to break the molds, always have been, which caused my mom and dad to go grey very early in life. But and yes, my mom and dad got divorced when I was 9 years old. So I became a very promiscuous young lady. And really, I just found life was just too many rules and boundaries. And
Yeah.
well, I actually don't mind boundaries, but it's those rules that are unreal. I need to know why, the
Yeah.
moral reason why you've got that rule. And I raised my kids the same way as well, is if you can give me the moral reason why that rule exists, I'll comply by it. But if you can't, I'm gonna jump over, go around, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So the conventional way of life just never resonated with me. So of course I went off the railway tracks, and because my mom and dad got divorced, I just decided that, you know what, who do I need to listen to? You don't listen to me, I'm not going to listen to. So I just didn't listen to anybody, which hindered my growth big time because my dad did raise us. I've got three sisters, so it's all girls. He wanted a boy. He was trying to raise us like boys, but we were, which is a big problem in leadership today. Too many women want to lead like men, but that's another whole story, instead of
Yes.
leading like a woman. And he just said, you know what? I want you to work in my factories. Just find a husband. No need to get any further education. So education for us wasn't that like, oh, well, whatever, we don't need it. But when he passed away, I realized that, you know what, I love training. In fact, I actually wanted to be a teacher, and they told me there's no way you can amount to being a teacher. So I was bombarded with, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're an idiot, you can't make
Hmm.
it, you're a woman, all those tape recorders that play
Sure.
in our minds. And it was, so actually, they always say, and I teach this as well, is that the day something extremely traumatic happens to you, that's where your emotional intelligence actually stops. You physically grow, but emotionally you don't. And so what happened is I ended up being this 18-year-old, that grew to 21, 22, 23, but my emotional state was still 18. So I was trying to go in the corporate world and grow in the corporate environment
Sure.
with the emotional state of 18, which never served me. Dad passed away when I was about 47. But I started a journey when I met my husband, by the way. I started a journey, and he started putting me on this the growth path, because that's he's extremely passionate about moving people along the line. We got married when I was 30, and we started this growth path. And for me, when Dad passed away, I thought, I need to do something with my life. Got my PhD at 50.
Awesome. That's congratulations. That is a true achievement, and it's never too late to learn and grow. And as I, constantly say, is get out of your comfort zone, because that's when you're really going to learn. Because you talk about these rules and regulations, and we're brought up in a society where we're taught to go to school, get an education, and go find a job and be a robot and not think for ourselves. And that system is broken, and more people are waking up to that. But you've been described as a top female income earner in South Africa by educating people. There you go, educating. And they said, oh, you can't be a teacher. Well, you are. You're teaching. You're out there leading. So you're educating people on getting involved in disruptive technology. I love that, that
Yeah.
phrase, disruptive technology, like the blockchain. And what you're doing is you're helping guide people to create residual income in the blockchain space. So, and this is something that Doc Ant and I talked about last week. And this is, finances is a huge, it's the number one stressor for people today. So, for those who don't know what blockchain is, describe what it is, in layman's terms, so they can understand, and how are people making residual income through this strategy.
It was quite interesting how I got into blockchain, and that was by losing money. And for me, it was like, okay, how do we make money from this blockchain technology? Again, disruptive, because that's my nature.
Right.
So, blockchain technology is an advanced, like, database mechanism that allows transparent information sharing with business networks. So it's like little blocks joined together on a chain, and it records this information. And as it records this information, it's very difficult to be hacked or manipulated, which I love, because I'm so tired of losing money.
Yes.
Even the banking system, you can actually have your money stolen on the banking system.
Right.
So it's like a distributed ledger that duplicates, and then the transactions get, how can I say, like, your network of computers actually participate in verifying these transactions. So it's like a public ledger, for example, that tracks your transactions across numerous computers,
Hmm.
creating this blockchain, which are called nodes. And then those
Yeah.
transactions are tied, which means that nobody can hack them, which for me, in a basic, simple way, it's little blocks joined together, bits of information, and we've got to trust the system. And it's working, and we can't hack it, which is so awesome.
Yeah, and that's I was very, scared in the beginning when, I was introduced to Bitcoin. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. It's a scam, it's a pyramid, it's a Ponzi, whatever. However, when I was introduced to crypto technology a couple of years ago, it's like, I missed out on the development of the Bitcoin opportunity. So maybe there's something to this. So I left my options open and started to learn about it. So
Yes.
yeah, and that's the beauty of this, because it is, for the most part, it is protected. Where I've had my bank account tapped into and stolen and plagiarized, and all, not plagiarized, but fraudulent
Yes.
transactions. People grabbing
Yes.
that information because it's out there. It's out there, and it's not really protected. So
Yeah, there's nothing worse than lying in bed on a Sunday morning and transaction goes through your credit card for an air flight overseas, and you're still sitting there and you're not going anywhere. So yeah,
Exactly.
blockchain, you can't do that.
Exactly. Or me living in Florida and a transaction is happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's like, no.
I'm not
So
sitting there.
at a store. So, but
Yeah,
great. And this is something that we'll be talking more and more about. And
absolutely.
I did talk with Doc Ant about the Conversion Academy. So for those that are watching, go back and listen to Doc Ant's interview because I'm excited to be a shareholder in the
Wonderful.
Conversion Academy, and very very excited to the future of this amazing platform and program
Absolutely.
that is being developed.
We
So
have to.
yes, absolutely. So Growth Habits is your website, and I've actually got it down there in the scrolling banner. And this is where, people learn, share, and grow. And it's run
Mm.
by a group of executives who have collectively have I was really like pleasantly surprised 156 years of training and mentoring experience. So, share with our viewers what that is all about because I do want them to check it out. I've downloaded a couple of your ebooks and have not yet had the chance to start reading them, but they're on my list.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Well, Growth Habits actually was started by my son. My son's way into his 40s, and it was around about 2017. The two of us embarked on a journey. It was a little bit earlier than that Anthony and I did the journey. And then I thought, you know what? My son's not a reader. My son's a guy who works with his hands. He's not interested in
Mm.
reading. And it's not his thing. So what I did is I bought him Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I put for us 100 Rand note behind every single chapter. So he had to read the chapter to have the 100 Rand notes. So I literally paid him to
Wow.
read. And he
Will
did.
you will you be my mom?
Everybody says that when I tell them. And then he didn't read the book. And his wife said, you know what? I'm going to read the book. And then I'm taking the 100 Rand. So when she took the first 100 Rand, he said, no, 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 no. I'm going to read this. So he read it. Then in 2017, we went on a T. Harv Ekker's Millionaire Mind Intensive course together, mother and son. And for about 5 years, we did these courses. We did everything together, grew our mindset. I've actually still got my band here. That's every time I'm going to reach for it now. That's here it is here.
Oh,
And
nice.
you put it on your hand and it says that I have a millionaire mind. So every time you think of poverty, you like sting yourself and say, no, 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 no. Mindset needs to change. Mindset needs to change. And so he started this company called Growth Habits, and then he immigrated. And I
Mm.
needed a new company to start my training in. So I've got another company where we do the consulting and the I go out and do, but I wanted a company, and I thought, you know what? This one's already up and running. This is exactly what I believe in. And so I continued and I took over from him. And he
Awesome.
came up with, it's all about what we need to learn. And the only way you retain information is when you share information.
Right.
So the moment you learn something, find someone to share it with, and therefore you grow together. And that's how we came up with this Learn, Share, Growth. The other executives that we work with are amazing teachers,
Mhm.
phenomenal teachers. And so we took Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and we took trainers from specifically experted in each one. So mine is financial, Anthony's is behavioral, and then we've got social, we've got what's the other one? Spiritual, and then emotional. So each one specializes in those areas, and that's how we came about. And collectively, all of us together, it shows you how old we all are. If we got 6 of us going with 156 years of specifically training and mentoring in different entities,
Yeah.
and different in governments and sectors and that kind of thing. So yeah, we're very exciting.
Yeah, that's great. And the three words learn, share, and grow. And that's kind of the precipice of the of this show is, we're learning from other people. So, and I want to share what other people know and what they are sharing with, their constituents. And this is how we all grow is by learning from those who are outside of that box thinking.
Mm.
And we need to be able to be open receptive for people who are looking, because there are a lot of people that are not looking, and
That's
that's
right.
okay. But there's
And
a
that's
lot
okay.
that are looking, but they don't know where to find this information. So this is, one of the reasons that I am doing this program. So, your vision is to develop well rounded, confident, and responsible individuals who aspire to achieve their full potential, which so many people are not doing today. So, since the early 1900s, we've been taught, as I said earlier, to go to school, get an education, and this is not working.
Mm,
It's clearly not working. And the more I'm researching outside of the US, it's clearly not working worldwide as well. So
correct.
please share your insight to this for our viewers about developing well rounded, confident, and responsible individuals.
Awesome. And earlier on, right in your introduction, you spoke about the coin. There's two sides to the coin,
Yes.
and there's actually three sides to the coin.
Oh,
We always forget
teach
about
me.
the rim. The rim. So you got your side and your side, but you've got your rim. So here's your coin. You still got the rim. So that's your third side. And most people sit on this rim, and and that's where you've got to make the decision. Do I fall to the side that I want to grow, or do I fall to the side to say this is who I am and tough luck, the world must accept me? So there's three sides to your coin. I thought I'd let you know.
I love it. I love it.
So we forget about the decision. It's like so the 40-year plan is like not working for everybody else. And it's much
No,
like South Africa. When I was younger, people retired at the age of 50. Then a couple of years later, government said, you know what? We need to help them to retire at 55. And then it went to 60. Now it's basically, well, work until you die. But I
yeah,
don't think us as human beings realize how dangerous this allowing me to work until I die impacts the rest of the nation. Because if I have taken care of my succession planning, if I've taken care of what do I need, and I know my numbers, and I know that this is what I need to do in order for me to retire and look after my own economy, as
mhm,
opposed to wanting the government to look after my economy,
yes,
then we just stay with the pension plans as opposed to saying, hold on, in fact, if wise people that are wealthy are saying, I need 7 streams of income, 7 flows of income into my household. So if one goes, I've got 6 to rely on. Then
correct.
why am I not actively doing that?
Hmm.
Because we stop the conveyor belt of employment because we haven't looked after our own financial well being and we
Exactly.
rely. So if I am supposed to retire at 50, that means I get removed from the workplace. It doesn't mean I need to stop. It means I come back in as a consultant. I come back in and share people the wealth of knowledge that I've learned. I don't go and sit on the stoop and do nothing, you know. But
Right.
then when I move out, then we've got a space for someone to move in. And so this person who leaves school or study, they can come in. But what happens is I stay for 55, I stay till 60, and boom, all these people that are trying to get out of
Right.
the school environment. Now we've got this massive unemployment because I didn't look after and I didn't take responsibility for my own household economy. And so my goal is to make sure that I create 100 asset-based millionaires. At 50, when I got my PhD, I said, okay, Lord, now what must I do? What am I supposed to do? And so since then, which has been a good 6 years now, um, I've been creating asset-based millionaires, and
Awesome.
57 are done. So I've got 47 to go for. So that's my goal. And an
Awesome.
asset-based millionaire says, "Hold on a second, I need to buy a car." So what asset, instead of me taking the money and putting it into buying a car, what asset have I got in place that will generate the income that if my car, let's say I buy one for 5,000 Rand a month or $1,000 a month, the asset must give me the 1,000. I take that. I still have my capital. Get rid of the car one day. I still have my capital. I still have my income. So that's
Yeah.
actually what I mean by developing well-rounded, confident, responsible individuals that aspire to their full potential, because it is a journey. I mean, we need to take care of mindset, emotional quadrants, knowledge, You can teach a skill, but you've got to develop the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And you provided so much value in the answer to that question. And you right as you were talking, I'm like hearing Robert Kiyosaki, assets, assets, assets. And he talks a lot about that, especially today in light of the world situation. But you bring up this 40-year plan, and we go to work, and then we put away for retirement. But what most people didn't realize and plan for is inflation.
Yeah.
So that is another major factor to the formula for
Yeah.
retirement, and unfortunately that has not been really taught and educated to the younger generation. And that's why you see, I know here in the United States, you see your grandparents working at Walmart, and they're greeting people because they have to go back to work because their
Yeah.
retirement is not sustaining them in their retirement years.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's and
Sad.
that asset, that's going to be another discussion. That's going to be another interview about asset
Yeah.
management, and which is something about this digital currency that we're going to be talking
Absolutely.
a lot more about in the future. So, your motto, which is borrowed from Sir Winston Churchill, is behavior never lies. And I believe this has been a motivating factor by which you've taken the TikTok market by reaching 1 million viewers in only 86 hours. I'm going to take you offline and talk to you about that because I'm jealous. Share with us, about what you did, how you did it, and then also your signature. I love it.
So I'll start with the signature. I had a friend many years ago, and she was a great mentor. And every time she left me, she would go, and I used to feel so special when she did that because it was for me. And then as I grew with my grandchildren, we went from that to putting our finger like ET did, and it always reminded me you got to stay grounded, you got to know where you come from and how it is. So that's where mine love you all comes from. But you're so right. Behavior doesn't lie. And it happened to be last year, it was July, we went overseas and we hadn't seen our children for 5 years. And we saw
Mm,
my daughter in the UK, and she had so changed. And she had, during COVID, obviously the lockdown and all the rest of it. And I just saw this amazing growth in this young lady. And I'm like, okay, Poppet, why are you, what's happened? And she said to me, Mom, TikTok changed my life. And I'm like, whoa,
oh
according to
wow.
me, TikTok is not a good place to be on, because I had my own perceptions because I listened to stories from people about TikTok. And then she said, no, I was following people, and they were talking about what a narcissistic spirit is and what narcissism is and how to overcome this and how to overcome. So she spent listening to little quick snippets that she could grab so quickly and then implement. And so she started growing. So when I got home, I thought to myself, okay, maybe I must just be one of those grannies, glamour grands, and just go onto TikTok and see what happens. And one of the things that we let ourselves down because we do not understand what
Yes,
consistency means.
correct.
Consistency, if you decide to do something, and I'm also a big network marketer. I've been in network marketing since 2010. I love working with people. I find it's one of the most amazing places to learn quick, grab skills, and all the rest of it. But the key is always consistency. So I thought, well, okay, if I post these TikToks, I need to post one every day. So I posted them at different times, and the one day I saw this lady, and I thought, gee, I like the way she does this TikTok. I'm going to try it. And because of consistency, I'd slowly started. Like within 2 weeks, I had 1,000 followers, then 2,000 followers, and then it went on. And I posted this one, and then I looked at my statistics. Again, statistics, figures do not lie. I don't care
Right.
who
Yeah.
tells you, figures do not lie. And then I found out the time that my people watched the TikTok and kept the consistency. And for 1 week, I posted at the time that they watch, and
Mm,
literally posted the one TikTok. And it really, in 86 hours, had 1 million views. Today, it stands at 3.2 million views. And I
Wow.
only did it in October last year.
Wow, that's congratulations. That's
Thank
a
you.
huge accomplishment for social media, because I know there are people out there who are trying to reach and they're struggling with their, growing their audience.
Mm,
So, but we talk about this is mental, holistic mental fitness, and I believe mental health, mental fitness is really tied into everything that we
absolutely.
do today. And I do want to take a quick commercial break here and share this protocol that I am actually doing. It's called the Happy Mind Pack, and this is a protocol that I do every single day. It basically wakes up your brain, and it consists of cutting edge nootropics with potent adaptogens. And it really helps with motivation, focus, mental energy, and overall state of mind, taking you to the next level. And it's I described it as euphoric in the beginning, and that's another story in itself. But this is something that, for people that are looking to get healthy, it's all about what are you putting into your body. So
Mm.
this is something that adds to motivation, brain health, neuron regeneration, focus and memory, mental energy, and endurance. So it also promotes a healthy and a positive mood, and it's so much better than taking Lexapro, Paxil, or Zoloft. And more people are starting to agree with that. So let's take a quick break and I'll show you what's going on with the Happy Mind Pack. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we're getting close to the end of the interview. It went by really fast here. So I got two more questions for you, Dr. Michelle. I want to get back to a little bit about the growth habits. This is a transformational training
Mm.
organization, and I also resonate with your definition. Transformational being defined as an approach that causes change in individuals and social systems, which is what I've actually been learning for the last 4 to 5 years now in my own journey. And it's in its ideal form, it creates valuable and positive change in individuals with the end goal of developing themselves from being followers into leaders. And that's kind of what I mentioned in the introduction here, is that more and more people are really stepping out of their comfort zone to become leaders, because we need more leaders outside of what's really out there and leading us in the world. So,
True.
how do you incorporate mental health into who you are and what you teach?
So I do honestly believe that no one can be successful in the workplace, as a parent, anywhere, as an entrepreneur, if we don't deal with mindset and what we're doing and why we're doing it and where we want to go. So it's the old saying of be, do, have. Who do I need to be? And then once I know who my being and what that entails, too many of us want to have the $1 million or be a millionaire. Okay. But we don't understand that in order to be the millionaire, the mindset has to be a millionaire mindset. So what my being has to enable, because the moment I get my million, if I don't have the mindset of a millionaire, I'm going to lose it. So we've got to patch it up and say, okay, fine. this is what I would like to have. Who do I need to become? And once I know who I need to become, I then will have the actions that will do what is necessary to have. And
Mm.
that's where the mindset needs to come in. It's the most, and I loved your ad right now, because it was all about how do we keep and how do we feed the mind, not just from what
Yeah.
we read, but what we eat
Yeah.
and what we intake, in order for that to be a healthy mind. When you wake up in the morning, do you realize you've had X amount of hours sleep? Now your body is dehydrated, your mind is dehydrated, which is a water consistency, has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the first thing you're drinking in the morning? Is it coffee, caffeine? Is it exactly? And or is it something that's healthy? And if you can't and you don't and you run out of access of what you're showing, is then drink water, you know? So it is about what am I doing, because who must I be? And the mindset is the first thing, because what we think is what we do.
That's awesome. And you talk about be, do, have, and it reminds me of Jim Fortin, who is a neurolinguistic programming, and he talks
Mhm.
about that mindset. And I don't know if you know him, but that's where I learned about be, do, have. And we have to train our own brains and teach our own brains this whole method here. And absolutely, you have to be in that moment and act like a millionaire, act like whoever you want to be, even though you don't have it, but
Mhm.
be that in the moment. So you
Yes.
can learn from that. I do have to throw this in, from the site as well. I believe today that most people lack the self confidence for a multitude of reasons. I did for decades,
Yeah.
and came out of my shell in 2019 with this, with what I'm doing, and that could be another interview series as well. But one of your ebooks is 10 things you can do to boost your self-confidence, and it's a practical guide, and I'm
Mhm.
planting a seed here for the viewers here to go check it out. A practical guide that offers one simple yet effective strategies to enhance one's self-esteem and live a more confident life. What was the reason behind you publishing this ebook?
As I mentioned earlier on, how I got beaten down with "you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're dumb,
Mm,
you'll amount to nothing, you'll be nothing." And so for me, as I say, I was a massive, massive introvert. I couldn't read in public. I would stutter. I couldn't do anything. Now you can't stop me talking. And it was all about how do I put that confidence back to who I am, because and then when in the workplace, and I spoke about the stagnation of the emotional intelligence to the actual age, and everybody kept shouting at me, "You're not producing results, you're not producing results, you're not producing results." And so I was like, well, why am I not producing? I'm doing the things that I think are right. And
right.
then that knocked me even more. And then I realized right back down that all of this, I will never, ever, ever get the results that I want, because my conditioning of my self confidence, my self worth, my self image, of what I believed in myself, needed to be like a car reconditioned in order
Mm,
to perform better. And when I grasped that, then I kept saying, okay, now I need to work on this. And my biggest fear was, because of my dad, who intimidated, was to deal with men that were older than me. And I'd fall apart, because, and then I'd know, no, what's my self confidence, and how am I talking to myself, and what am I telling? Because the person you and I have the most conversations with on a daily basis is ourselves.
that's right.
What does that conversation look like? And
Right.
when you hear the negative, you need to understand, okay, I need to analyze what I just said. Why am I saying it? How do I fix it? Because when I get that self-confidence, the mindset and the attitude will change, the behavior will change, the result will change.
Uh, perfect. And daily affirmations can be a
Ah,
tool to
absolutely.
helping boost your self confidence, and which is something that I need to do more of. I don't do
Me too.
I don't do it every day, but it's getting there. You got to form habits, but
Yeah.
I
Put them on
love
your mirror. When you're
yes.
brushing your teeth, put them on your mirror, and you say it every morning when you brush your teeth or
Even if
shave.
even if you're spitting out toothpaste, just say it.
Just say it.
So, last question for you is, if there were one piece of advice you could give anybody that's watching today, who is looking for that glimmer of hope, because there are millions out there looking for that glimmer of hope from
Yeah.
either a personal or a professional perspective, or a combination of both, what would that be?
Life will not always work out the way you want it to work out, but to embrace and realize that that is part of the process. So, if we can embrace the power of realizing that resilience and perseverance are qualities that will illuminate the path of hope and success, both professionally and in our personal life, we need to remember that the smallest little act of perseverance that you can put in on a daily basis will ignite a spark of hope tomorrow when you wake up. So I'm just going to say, keep moving forward and always remember it's the tortoise that wins the race. The slower you move, the quicker it's going to be. Fast is not always the winning recipe.
Ooh, I love that. That is so good. Dr. Michelle, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be my special guest today. You've brought so much value. I'm going to go back and re-listen to this interview. And you and Doc Ant are changing the world in so many amazing aspects. And
Thank you.
I'm excited to see what's going to be happening in the future, not only for Doc Ant, not only for you, but also for the Conversion Academy.
Absolutely.
And remember this, I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, which we'll be talking more about down the road in the future. And lastly, mental fitness is the new physical health. So thank you all, and mwah.
Love you.
Love you
Cheers.
too. Thank you.